Boys and girls, welcome to this video for the Secrets of Dyrt. Let's get started right away with this game that I created myself, so the commentary that you hear now is from the developer's point of view. Of course, I already have some videos for the Secrets of Dyrt. There you see my ugly face in only the introduction, without commentary in-game. Now you will hear me actually do commentary. Yeah, this is the difficulty selector. The reason why you cannot change it later is because there will be rule constraints when you would change it later. I mean, the maximum size of your inventory is different, how much money you earn, how fast experience goes, and many more parameters will actually change. So that is why you can only change it now. This is for newbies or people who only wish to see the story without a true challenge. This is for people who really need to visit a psychiatrist for deeming everything too easy, and this is the game how it's supposed to be. Of course, since I am doing the commentary in English now, I will also set a scenario in English. The languages only affect the scenario text. Items, spell names, etc., will still be in English. I'm not going to recite all the scenario. Of course, here we see the elfish girl we all know, as it is my avatar. And yes, this was the game in which she made her debut. She also plays an important role in some novels that I wrote in the Dutch language. Now the setup was originally that you would only have these 4 playable characters. That you would be able to do their prologues in random order. Basically the same as the fairy tale, which this was basically the sequel to. However, many changes were made, also some interference by my back at the time my girlfriend, who added 3 characters, and I added a 4th extra one to make a full group of 8 to make the group complete. However, these characters have been changed after she dissed me for another guy. And well, basically many story adaptations took place, causing me to change the setup in which I would start the game. I'm going pretty quickly through the scenario right now, as this is most of all a developer's commentary video. And I basically recommend you to play the game yourself if you truly wish to know the story. Of course, the first mission, Iravonia tells about her past as a kid. That would have been her prologue mission. Original setup to give each character their own personal prologue. However, things were of course changed, and this was a bit of a leftover. However, I kept it in for a few reasons. First of all, there was no real point in removing it anyway. And second, it explains, of course, something about Iravonia's condition. The fairies in the Fantasy universe are actually mutated humans, and their mutations have many effects. One of them being able to use magic, another to having wings so they can fly. Eravonia doesn't have them because she's a kid now, but in her adult form she has wings. And another one is having a lifespan 10 times longer than a human's lifespan. However, as Eravonia suffered from Agon's disease, that last mutation did not take place. Well, I'm basically going to play the game while I explain a few things. The first of all is the flexible level cap. Each time you find a travel emblem, like the tutorials explains, the level cap will go up 4 levels in this case because I chose to play the game in the casual mode. This system was brought up the first time when I revamped the Fairy Tale, the very first Phantasar game. The system was actually brought up as a lot of RPG players cheat their way through an RPG through endless level grinding. Well, basically any RPG can be easy by then, and even the people who do not cheat like that, newbies. And out of a bit of disgust for these kinds of players, I decided to put this in to prevent overgrinding. Now every dungeon contains a Traveler's Emblem. So that is getting experience points instantly is something that I came up with when I created Star Story. And I liked that so much that when I decided to revamp the Secrets of Dyrt to the current version, that I took that over. So as soon as you make the kill, you immediately get the experience points, if of course you don't have the current level cap. This also means that you can go up a level during the fight. Now you see the encounter gauge. You see it depleting. When it's completely run out, then you won't get any more random encounters in that room. That was also a system that I came up with for multiple reasons. First of all, it is a bit annoying that when you get lost that you keep running into monsters. This way there is at least a maximum, so when you take too long, then you can at least search in a more relaxed way. And of course, if you found the Traveler's Emblem, you should also be able to turn the encounters off. Which is actually, if you were looking for something that is only findable in a specific dungeon, that you are not always bothered by encounters. That is always be a bit of a downside of instant random encounters. However, that system only triggers. Of course, it is possible that I didn't put it in here. I didn't put. Oh wait a minute, it's the encounter went off. It is at least present in most of my these games using this system. It is possible there are some secret dungeons hidden in other dungeons, and also a few optional bosses. Now, most of them are located in places. It it is possible that I didn't put the encounter terminal system in Dyrt. It's been a long time since I played this game myself last. It is present at least in the fairy tale and also in Innocent Power. Well, as the gauge has been depleted, no more encounters in this room. Now, if you leave a dungeon and come back later, then the encounter gauge will be reset and then you will be able to deal with enemies again. So it is possible to grind like crazy as far as you found Traveler's Emblems allow it. Now this is of course a battle that takes place due to the scenario script, so it will happen anyway. Now this is of course just a very simple dungeon, as it is of course a bit of a prologue starting on the game. And Eravonia does not have her full statistics. This is of course a story that takes place in the past. And he is now a kid. After this dungeon we will get at a later time. So then we can use her abilities as a fully grounded woman. And of course then she also has access to her magic spells. Well, this enemy was bound to defeat you. And of course, due to the flexible level cap system, it would never be possible to grind like crazy, so you can defeat it anyhow, as you can't get any higher level than level 4. 5 if you play the easy mode. So basically, it will always be too strong, but that is of course it was supposed to defeat you. There are a few more enemies you will always lose from, but they are not too much. Well, let's just hop on to the story and go to the second part. Well, the second part was originally supposed to be Eric's in the prologue story. Although it was my intention to make Eravonia kick you out of your bed, also causing Eric's mother ask Eravonia if she was in love with Eric. Yes, Eravonia is Eric's love interest. She was intended that way from the very start. As this was supposed to be Eric's personal prologue, in the original setup you wouldn't have Eravonia with you. And you wouldn't even play this forest part, but you would immediately skip to the exam part. But in order to give Eric and Eravonia a bit of time together before the actual action, I added this dungeon, which is of course a very small forest dungeon. Now, as you can see, the HP bar of the goblin, or the strong goblin, is a question mark, while at the blue slime you can already see it. Basically because this is the first strong goblin you fight. In the easy mode, the HP bar will always be visible. In the hard modes, they will never be visible. Yeah, there's not too much to say about this particular place anymore. Like I said, I only added it when the personal prologue system was dropped to make the story in the first chapter, at least the way it was now. In order to give Eric and Iravonia an excuse to be together in one dungeon. If the original idea of having the personal prologues had persevered, then this dungeon would not have been added at all. Now, as Rebecca, she was added by my former girlfriend back then. The idea to give Eric a sister named Letitia. However, as when she traded me in for a different guy, she demanded to have all her characters back, so I replaced her with Rebecca. Now, Rebecca has become a very major key story in the character development of Eric as well. She always starts 5 levels higher than Eric, which was to show that she is actually the better warrior of the two. Of course, as Rebecca was only added in later versions of the story and not in the original setup, she would not have taken place in this dungeon. First setup in which she was added, she would actually be here already as a character who already passed her exam before. However, that ID was later scrapped and set up to the way now. But as you can see here, the Traveler's Emblem is in the secret passage. In the first dungeons I made it obvious to find, but it won't stay that way forever. For your points. Well, let's see. Was deliberately designed to give you a bit walking space over 2 routes. Now, the first version of the game was designed with a tile-based map editor, and in the some dungeons and cities from that design have actually been copied into this, and you may see easily which places that may be. This dungeon was fully recreated from scratch when I revamped the Secrets of Dyrt with the Ketura map editor, so it can take full advantage from the stuff that Ketura has to offer that a tile-based map editor has not. Now, of course, my task is to get a key that is lying in the back of this dungeon. Go back to the entrance, open the door there, and fight the big monster that is behind it. Now, this is a puzzle location. I have really gone for it to make puzzle locations free of random encounters, as that is only annoying. 3. Well, basically, this puzzle is based on the eye of a die. And 3 is looking like this. Yeah, the key was replaced indeed by the switch. There's also a secret passage here, by the way. Not much to grab though, it's a bit random what you may find here. Yeah, you may have seen the term strike streak with Rebecca. All characters, except from a few temporary characters, have an automated personal ability that may go off at random or when certain situations arrive. In Rebecca's case, it's when she has performed a normal attack that she might do the same attack again. Eric has the unique ability to, when the enemy is weakened, to kill it instantly with a coup de grace. Iravonia can randomly block out an entire magic element. Brandor can randomly completely block out damage, and Silagandra will, when any of her allies are severely wounded, immediately move to the comp spot. Yeah, there's a secret passage here. The tiles from which this dungeon was made were designed by a guy who prefers not to have his real name revealed. And that is why he is credited as Man of Steel, and these tiles were specifically designed for my RPG projects. Done all dungeon tiles, but that was simply because a project like this has too much of those, and that would be undoable. So I have been a bit reliant on third-party assets. Of course, it's still pretty straightforward now, as it's still the early stage, only 2 characters, and I didn't really want to throw you into the deep at the start of the game. But of course, as you get further in the game, you will need more and more strategy. You may have noticed that Rebecca's attacks are stronger than Eric's. She's basically the better fighter of the two. However, Eric will gain other abilities. But even though this is rather based for commentary than on the actual story, I still don't want to spoil things too early in the game. Rebecca has gone up in her sword and fighting abilities. It will increase her stats a bit. And new abilities can also be learned based on how many skill levels you have. And that is why she now learns double power strike. Eric has no special abilities yet, but he too will of course learn special abilities as the game progresses. Iravonia will of course learn new spells as she gains more skill in her 4 magic groups. Brando is most of all brute force. His attacks will mostly make up for it without many special abilities. And Silacandra is a priestess. So she can pray to the gods to get her abilities. And since she is most of all devoted to the goddess of healing, she will, once she is available as a playable character, be your most important healer. Thing to show is that you actually have leadership, and each character has outside of combat ability. I will tell you more about that when you actually need those off-combat abilities. But sometimes speaking to people can also have different effects based on the party member you have as a leader. And Iravonia was not allowed to join me in the exam. Can respond on who I have in the lead. What's up, Eric? Didn't get me further under the roof by now? Or couldn't you leave me behind without a kiss? I was just kidding, you know, I never kiss you, don't you? Oh no, she wants to do more to him than just kissing. If you press with the right mouse button on the bar, Rebecca's off-combat ability, but there is nothing you can do with that at this particular point. So that's not relevant now, but if I speak to Iravonia now, watch yourself, Rebecca. You're keeping an eye out for Eric too. I'm a bit worried about him, you know. Don't worry, Iravonia, I'm well prepared. course a minimum amount of, 25, and I only have 23. But as you attack more, get damage. You gain AP, and now I am able to do it, and now I have 33. Well, as I don't have any healing spells at my disposal at the moment, let's just use items. The quick strike can cancel, and then the enemy will be thrown back to the start of the idle. The cancel effect only works when the enemy is on the time code between command, com, and action, act. Yeah, this is not going to work. Excuse me. I placed in the move laziness in order not to make the game too hard right away. However, the more you move on, the less likely that move is about to be used. And Eric is now level 3 or even level 4. Eye of the Tiger, the name of the achievement is of course for defeating these boss. And it refers to the song with the same name by the group Survivor. I know there is another song called Eye of the Tiger by a female singer. This was the reference to the Survivor song. Passed her action while Eric failed. This was because Eric thought too soon that the monster was dead and Rebecca remained alert to the end. You see that big 008? I will explain later what that means. And I forgot to mention it during the dungeon. That is not really that important, but it is nice to know what it means, right? Now, this mission was originally meant to start the game by after the personal prologues were all completed. In the original setup you would of course only start with Eric and Rebecca, but as the game was expanded to an 8 character total, and it only making sense that Rebecca would join you, you will now play the game with 3 party members. Of course, as Rebecca had to be shaped more and more into the story, and the game for still be in concept stages when she was added, especially after my girlfriend left, allowing me to shape Rebecca to my own liking. Her relation with Eric is very loosely based on my own relation with my own sister. Always bossing me around like that, but also being the Boromir of the family. I changed that a lot in this concept. That was a bit back in the time. Still a kind of self-protection, as I didn't want to be too confronting to my family back at the time. Now that I broke up from them, I've been a lot more aggressive in my way of writing. And you will notice that if you see my work nowadays. However, the story of this game was of course set up before I made that decision. When it comes to this dungeon, it is merely a kind of connection to go to the city of Dublin, from where you can go to the Forgotten Realm. Due to still being a leftover of the old prologue kind, you cannot yet get onto the world map, but it will be available once you reach chapter 2. However, that will be for the next video, as I will do one video for each chapter. This wall, that's a nice thing. It won't be there when you play the New Game Plus. And then you can actually pass through there, and then you have the first extra dungeon that you will get for the New Game Plus. As this is a normal game playthrough, it is locked. Now let's first pick up the Traveler's Emblem, and of course you now see that the 001. I will explain now what it means. You will notice that as soon as I go to the next room, that it will be 002. Basically, nearly all towns and dungeons have multiple rooms that you can get into, and mostly they are just numbered. And that is all what it is. If you ever want to write a walkthrough about this game, those numbers can actually be helpful to make references about which area you are actually writing about, and that's all. Like I said, you get experience instantly when killing enemies, which also means that when you have enough experience to gain a level, that you will instantly gain a level in the middle of the fight. Ah, not enough AP. but let's see if I can do a double power strike. Apparently that's not strong enough. Iravonia is equipped with wands and each wand have a spell. You can only change wands outside of battle. That is done on purpose in order not to give you too much advantage from this system. It would be way too easy to just change wands for every different kind of enemy you meet. And this way you have to rework it out a little. As you can see, Iravonia does a lot more damage than the others do. This is a kind of enemy that was supposed to be beaten by magic. This way I wanted the game to be more versatile and that you actually have to set up more of a strategy. And as you have 3 characters now, and of course since you are a bit on the way now, you should be able to think more strategically. Now, nice to know is that Iravonia also has healing spells at her disposal. She will, however, never get as good as Silacandra on that department. How nice, eh? A dead end. Luckily, this system has a Dijkstra-based Pathfinder routine. Although this will not help you in all locations. The usage of Roman numbers to denote your levels was just a bit of a joke. I just had worked out a routine that could translate Arabic numbers to Roman numbers. Well, it was only fitting that it would be used for something. And those level 1 numbers, well, I guess they suit fine. Originally designed for the fairy tale. Basically, the same map was used for both the fairy tale as this game. Also, in Luna's Father, you can also pass through the bleed. Let's just immediately go to the action. Well, this is of course the first dungeon in which the storyline is actually getting important. It was actually a bit hard to design this properly. However, I really wanted to give the impression that you were in a royal castle of a kingdom that has been lost, only leaving the royal castle behind. Now, of course, the game implies that the queen's servant is deaf. Actually, he is. And the queen herself is mute. It will be explained later in the game why that is. I'm not fully happy with the design, how it turned out to be. In the end, I left it this way simply because otherwise the game would still have been in development, and at some point you really have to move on. One-time dungeon. You can only enter it once, and after that it will be locked for the remainder of the game. And Shenda has joined as a guest character. She is fully controllable, but she cannot gain any experience points. she will eventually leave the party permanently. This also has some consequences for the Traveler's Emblem, by the way. Shenda does not have any abilities. Her statistics are also not shown. It's all because she's a guest character. You can of course see how many hit points she has left. And of course, the level 15 has been set in magenta in order to signify her position as a guest character. I can tell you that the game contains 2 guest characters. That I'm not going to reveal yet who the other is going to be until the moment that character has actually joined the party for his or her temporary This was one of the first dungeons that actually led into a discussion with the guy who made the tiles. Originally, it was just a green scale of the tile that I used for the action ruins. However, that Man of Steel had the opinion that would make people think that the monitor was broken and only able to display green. So he did a manual overhaul of the tiles. Well, this is the result. Now notable are also the presence of enemies called orcs here. Story-wise, that is a very important detail to note. You would wonder why is that, because orcs are very common monsters in many RPG games. However, there are some notes basically in the story itself and also a bit in the background lore that comes with its fantasy world. However, if I already tell about that right now, then I may spoil some things that are going to be revealed later in the game. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh well, let's use healing spells some more. It will cause Eravonia to gain extra points with her one-up magic skills, which will eventually also lead to her being able to cast attack spells based on order. There will be a boss later in the game on which that is very important. gauge with picking up a Traveler's Emblem, but that has to do with Rebecca's off-combat action. Now these ghosts are pretty annoying. They only have 1 HP, but you will nearly always miss them. They are actually meant as targets for Iravonia to fight. However, it's a bit unlucky that there are 3 of them now. However, it might be possible that I can hit him with a physical attack. Double power strike will, by the way, also hit those ghosts. I really need Iravonia now, though. I really can't have her lying down like that. See the portrait of the one performing a special move. I really thought that would actually be a kind of improvement, that you know who is doing what. The only downside is of course that the enemy are not shown that way, which is something that when I came up with the Fairy Tail revamp, I revamped the original Fairy Tail game, that I covered that one up due to the card system that that game uses. The game is also a bit of a journey in how to do things right. Yeah, Shenda's down, huh? Well, just leave her there. Those ghosts were supposed to be this strong. I gave them a high chance of coming up with laziness for a reason. You may of course seen that after battle the vitality system comes into play. just get HP back based on how much vitality you still have. The vitality system is also one of the crucial systems why you cannot change difficulty anymore. As you have 100 in the easy mode to 50, 100 in the casual mode to 50 in the easy mode, and no vitality at all in the hard mode. So in the hard mode you are pretty much on your own. Yes, this was the kind of setup that the graphics designer was afraid for, that people would think their monitor was broken. And I'll leave it up to you guys if you agree with him. This is also, of course, where the non-combat abilities are explained. And Iravonia can, at a very fly a short distance, use that to get over this small gap. If gaps are wider than 48 pixels, then bad luck, and then she cannot fly over. Now here you can see the Traveler's Emblem, as this is a disappearing dungeon. This is the only one to get it. That's why I activated the door on getting it. So you must take it. You are really planning to do a Traveler's Emblem challenge or something. You know, Final Fantasy fans are very fond of those kind of silly challenges. Yeah, then you will still have to ignore that you did one for that challenge, as you must take it or you simply cannot continue. It's as simple as that. You can see the door opens now, and my level cap has been increased to level 20. Well, I can also use double power strike on these ghosts. Like I said, they only have 1 HP. So it doesn't really matter how you deliver the damage as long as you don't miss. This zigzag thing is something that was annoying me and also my graphic designer at the time. This is the only game of mine that had a dedicated graphic designer. In order to make that clear. That had a bit to do. I didn't really write the Pathfinder routine for this game myself. As the engine for this game was written in C#. However, the underlying game engine in the computer that I was not happy with. So I began to learn C++ and build my own engine. Well, this is also an engine that I built myself, but in C#, but I built my own engine then in C++. The Apollo engine still has to suffer from that zigzag in my new Sydney's Creative Interpreter, in which Luna's father has been written. I actually took care of matters, and there the heroes can also work diagonally. Well, basically it's a bit of puzzling out how Iravonia has to go. This is a puzzle room, but despite all that I still made random encounters here they are not really in the way of this kind of puzzle. And I guess I need to take another way. Now when it comes into the techno bubble, but I will save that for after this random encounter. Or, oh wait, it's not a random encounter yet. Basically, the Keturah calculates a block map for areas that the hero cannot pass through. However, as it would be almost impossible for me to properly scan how Eravonia could fly, Keturah has a tagging system, and I had to make great use of that to allow some extra checkups, particularly in the non-combat move of Cindy, which can be used to get over the longer gaps, although there are a bit of a few requirements about that one. I was very reliant on the tagging system in order to make things possible. Now you will see Shanda's skill at the points still increase. That was basically just to save myself a lot of needless scripting work. But it will actually not have any effect at all. On the other character I came up with a more elegant solution for that, but that character had provided me with some means to do so also, so that's, I guess, one problem solved the other now. Now, part of the music here was written by Witzy, who was actually who had actually some contact with me about it. This particular track that you hear now is not, of course, created by Max McFarland, who had his own website built with music released under a Creative Commons license. However, the website has disappeared. He does still have a SoundCloud account, where this music can still be downloaded under the same terms, Creative Commons. Only required to credit him. But he hasn't been adding new tracks there for years. I really wonder why he is no longer active. And of course, when it comes to only a part of the music being done by Witzy and the others from Creative Commons artists, that was basically for the same reason. It would simply be too much to cover by only one musician. Especially since this was a no-budget project. Without third-party assets, this project would actually have been impossible. Yeah, this particular one, I wonder what was harder. Me creating it so it works properly or actually solving it. Yeah, there's an oversoul system. This is also a kind of a punishment for overgrinding. If you beat too much of the same enemy, then they will go oversoul and get stronger. That system will, however, not be activated during an easy mode play. Ja, de name of the achievement, vlieg met me mee naar de regenboog rainbow. It's Dutch, it means fly with me to the rainbow. And it refers to a song from the Dutch comedian Paul de Leeuw. This treasure chest was in place here by mistakes in order to not to spook up completionists who want to have all treasures. I didn't want to put any treasure chests in one-time dungeons. However, yeah, this one still ended up here somehow and I forgot about it. But as it's very hard to miss, I guess it's not too much trouble, and the mysterious potion is not very common anyway. Now this is of course where some of the game's mysteries are unfolding a bit more. There is something about this hooded child named Blanchie, and of course you can see that Queen Shanda reacts to that. I'm not going to reveal why that is. It is of course revealed later in the game. And of course here we will have a meeting with one of the first main antagonists. Yeah, of course, I made this guy. There are still question marks here, but his name is Jericho. It will be revealed soon anyway. Here I am Jericho, and I'm your worst nightmare. Of course, I made a kind of a mocking statement to someone who's famous in the Netherlands in this scenario. No need to get into the deep of that. Everyone will like to know who that was. Of course, I always imagined Iravonia to be the true child lover. In other words, she'd do anything for children, and she's the kind of girl who will always jump into the fray whenever children are being threatened. It was a kind of an aspect from her that I could not really put fully in the light as I originally desired it, but this is one of the few places where I could do that. And this is of course the fight against Jericho. Now Iravonia was, by the way, a very interesting character, as she has a bit of a carefree nature, is pretty happy-go-lucky, and of course, especially to Silacandra, she turns up as a bully. However, there is very much more to her character, and I really gave Iravonia a lot of thought when I was setting up the story for this game. The fun part is, I've always pictured her that if she would be a Hogwarts student, she would actually be sorted into the house of Helga Hufflepuff. That may surprise you a little by her bullying nature, but perhaps if you get to know her and you play the game, you will understand why that is. Well, when it comes to this boss, you first want to get rid of the orcs to make sure that they won't get into any way. Jericho is most of all from the antagonist characters, the powerhouse. So you really don't want him to have too much help. Of course, now I said that I would sort Iravonia into Hufflepuff. Now, of course, you may be wondering in which houses I would put the other characters. Well, Eric, all I will say is that I would sort him into Gryffindor, but the reason why I will not reveal right away, as that will require me to give away some spoilers. Rebecca was for me a much clearer case. She would definitely be in Gryffindor. And of course, Brandor has not yet been playable. I would sort him into Hufflepuff. And our elfish friend, Silacandra, she will, for me, definitely be a Gryffindor. Now I gave Jericho, in order to make him a bit easier, a weakness for the wind element. The Jericho spin move, the way it's animated now, was actually a bit of improvising, and I originally wanted to grab the screen and make it turn around. However, for some reason the not seem to be good SDL routines on which the monogame engine which was used here was based. I'm trying to be looking up for that on several sites, but the most intelligent answer was, what kind of idiot are you? Yeah, that is not really something that I can work with. Now as far as this game is concerned, I do not really care anymore. But if someone knows a bit more about grabbing a screen and not saving it as a screenshot, but actually grabbing it into the memory, then I'm still very much interested. And oh yeah, the engine for this game was coded in C#, and my current engine is coded in C++, so I'm not interested in C# for this. Well, at least I am rid of all talk, so let's focus completely on Jericho now. Like I said, I gave him a weakness to win, so basically Iravonia should go crazy with that whenever she has the chance. You may also have noticed that there's a different boss tune here than on the other two bosses I fought so far. That is basically due to his role in the storyline. There are 3 others belonging to the same group, and they too will have this music playing while you fight them as boss enemies. Jericho, however, is the only one who has a designated move named after him. Iravonia does not have enough maybe to do anything right now. But actually I was very set up from the start that he would have that move named after him, Jericho's spin. Now it should be noted, my pre-novel in the area and its successor, the novel The Mountain Evening, between the Magical Mob. Those are prequel stories. In the original setup, Jericho was the most underworld character that I had. Actually, in the big novel in the area, he doesn't even play a role at all, and the other two. So when I began on the Madness Called Love novel, I actually had a full goal in which I would save Jericho. However, as the first setup for this game were cancelled, yes, this game went through a lot of trouble. I had to rewrite a few sections for Jericho to make him matching how he turned out to be in the novel. But I cannot reveal anything about that right now, as that would also be spoilers. of course makes you wondering about the other three. However, they will not appear until later chapters. The second member of that group will introduce himself at the end of the second chapter. Another Jericho spin, huh? Of course, due to this move bearing Jericho's name, you can imagine that Jericho is the only character in the entire game who can use it. I can, however, already reveal that you will fight him multiple times. Funny to know that even though Shanna is a guest character, she does have her own ultimate move. She regenerates 10 hit points at the start of each of her Was it for Jericho for now. Sounds like a sore loser. I won't be wasting time here, but he's actually speaking the truth from his point of view. I can at least tell you that. Well, of course, Iravonia has a suspicion that some goons that picked them up and threw them in this cell are connected to Jericho. It is never officially revealed that this is the case. However, from others' perspective, I actually regret that I could not fully reveal that, but yes, the people who threw these 4 people into the prison cell are connected to Jericho. Well, this mission was of course meant to be Brandor's prologue dungeon, and therefore you only play with him this time. I placed this merchant here as you cannot get to the world map during the events of this chapter. And this way you can at least restock some items if you think you need them. The May I Crush Your Skull please is due to defeating Jericho. Yes, you cannot reach this Traveler's Emblem. You can already see that you will need Eravonia for that. Since you can get onto the world map as soon as you reach chapter 2, you will from that moment on also be able to reach this mysterious crypt, and then you can retrieve the emblem and also retrieve these swords, which are better weapons for Eric and Rebecca. Well, let's save the game, shall we? Yeah, let's move to a new slot. Now this dungeon was pretty straightforward. The way it would actually fully run has been changed on the design table many times. As you can see, Brandor's level is noted in red letters, but of course the level cap is currently 20 and Brandor is higher than that. That does mean that he can't gain any experience until the moment that you found enough enough Traveler's Emblems in order to get the level cap higher than 32. Now you may have seen that Brandor was poisoned, however status changes will all wear off after battle. Now these signs here are actually things that you need for a later puzzle. In case you wonder if it makes any sense at all to go for enemies here, since Brandor can't gain experience now anyway, well, there are still reasons to do that. We don't need triangles, squares will do. Remember the word square. But of course, you can still have some item drops, and his hammer skills at level 4 will still increase, so it is not entirely pointless. I mean, there was now an antidote dropped, and of course enemies enemies can sometimes also drop money, like now. Of course, reading these signs with these random encounters can be a bit annoying. 9 is my number, 9 is my heart, 9 times the thunder, it doesn't seem so hard. 9 is the fall switch, and that troubles me, because I'm pretty sure 9 leads to the key. Of course, remember the word 9. Perhaps if you are a little well versed in mathematics, you will already know where this is going. I guess one more encounter before I can read that sign, and then I have depleted this room. Nice to note is that the enemies that you can meet in battle are completely randomized. You never know what combination you're going to get. The number of enemies that you meet is dependent on your chosen difficulty setting and on the number of party members that you have up front. And the hint, can you get to the root of all evil? So we have the words root, square and 9. Perhaps you can point it out, square root 9. What is square root 9? That's 3. But before the puzzle takes place, where this hint will lead to, first this room. And here we have a little hint about Brandor's non-combat ability. If you stand in front of a cracked wall and you click the hammer, the wall will break, revealing what is behind it. Of course, we see the boss here. The puzzle comes later. I know, I'm bad. And let's have a little fight with Mr. Scorpion. Well, that was lies in the fact that I am faster than this little beast. Total block, so I didn't suffer at all. Poison sting, yet I didn't get poisoned. Now I did get poisoned. Well, you can already see the way to go. Yes, if Veravonia was here, she would be able to fly over that little gap. Unfortunately, she isn't. Of course, what you have to know, you won't really see it, but Brandor is actually the slowest character in your group. It's just that these enemies were adapted to his lack of speed. That will seem that he is super fast. Of course, his physical strength will have to make it up for it. Also, and this is also where the difficulty settings play a role, the exact height of his level is dependent on your chosen difficulty settings. And this is what the puzzle is about. Left is 1, right is 9. Hit the correct switch and you'll be fine. Hit the wrong switch and pay for your sin. As you will be there and anew you begin. Yeah, if you take the wrong switch, then you will be teleported back to the entrance of this level. However, if you did understand the hints, square root 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So that means that 3 is the correct switch. Yeah, the text on the floor is actually a script for the language of Phantasar. This is the official script for that. It reads Secrets of Dyrt. Bozar. That translates indeed to English as enemies of Dyrt beware. Of course, I think it is only obvious that this is something that comes back later in the game, given the name of the game. Brandor's little prologue ends here. Of course, we didn't hear Silagandra's story yet. Well, Gandra Valdar is Silagandra's old man, and basically he hates it how Silagandra rejects the elfish life philosophy called the harmony. Basically, this is based on my own personal traumas, and there is a reason that Silagandra is my own personal mascot, and she symbolizes my own traumas in this field. Basically, we can say that Silagandra has never been accepted for the girl she truly is, and always had to be the girl that she definitely is not. And that, of course, frustrates her. Now, Silagandra does have deep down a good side. When I first set her up, I actually didn't want to go that deep with her. At first, I wanted to create a girl that was everything that Hando Stilor, who was the elfish representative in the first Phantasar-based game. And I wanted her to be everything that Hando Stilor is not. So I came up with a young girl with a really rebellious personality. And at first I created her in the way that she would basically not care about anything at all. However, as I went deeper into her character, in order to give her a reason to be what she is, the entire trauma for me of rejectionship was that what turned her in what she is now, and how she actually grew as a kind of an extension to me. What is very important to note, though, is she is not me. She does have many characteristics that are definitely not based on my own. And of course, there's a reason that I turned her into a girl. This is also, or at least that I used a female character to display this side of me. That was already a bit of creating a bit of distance. Now let's first make a little save game. This statue is the statue of the goddess Venieria, the elfish goddess for healing. Of course, in the original setup, as you see that Brandor is now with her, in the original setup, Silagandra would have to do this alone, as it would be all personal prologues. It was my girlfriend's idea to have Brandor with her as someone she could deal with, and someone she would not fall in love with, but someone who she would trust fully nonetheless. And Brandor actually perfectly fit that bill due to his personality. Also notable, you see in Amber the 2 X's. That means that she actually reached the level cap precisely. Silagandra will always start the game at the level cap the way it is on the moment she enters the game. So how difficult this part will be will actually be dependent on how well you've been working out on finding all these traveler's emblems. In the casual mode, in the normal playthrough, that would always be level 20. If you play the easy mode in regular gameplay, that would always be 25. In the New Game Plus, that would be 25 in the casual mode and 35 in the easy mode. In the hard mode, it would in both modes be 15 that it could maximally be. Well, now I did forget one thing in the map, that you could already have done one extra dungeon with an extra traveler's emblem, so that is not entirely correct for the New Game Plus, but let's forget about that. It would, of course, since you already had done at this point the Shanda's dungeon, in which you are obligated to pick up the traveler's emblem, so Silakandra cannot start the game at level 0. If you have played the fairy tale, which takes place 200 years before this game, then you will see that Beniheria's temple looks entirely different than the way it looked in the fairy tale. That is not a continuity error. It would actually be a continuity error if both temples looked the same. The reason why the two temples look different while they are located at the same spot is simply because a children's novel, which does happen to be Canaan, which takes place 7 years after the fairy tale, in that story the entire temple of Beniheria is burned to the ground, and it was later rebuilt, but they didn't rebuild it the same as the original was. That's all. Well, here is a little secret passage, and here we have the Traveler's Emblem. Yeah, you do see a whip here for Silakandra's non-combat ability. It is secret dungeons not counted. It won't be before chapter 3 that we actually get to use it. Well, let's first examine the statue. Of course, now we see that that Cindy's level is no longer Amber, as the level cap increased 4 levels when I picked up that Traveler's Emblem. The reason why it is all at the start is because this portion cannot be entered anymore once you completed it. That was actually to prevent conflict, as Silakandra will purify this temple, making that no more monsters appear, but it was technically undoable to script the way that the game that way that the encounters would not appear after the purification, so I decided to block that part of the temple out completely, turning this technically into a disappearing dungeon, yet the main hall can still be entered. So I placed the Traveler's Emblem door there in order not to have an obligation to take it like you had in in Shanda's temple. Well, one characteristic that Silakandra does not share with me is her being quite acrobatic. Like I said, she is the main healer. Oh, she doesn't have enough AP yet. And now she has. And her healing spells are by far stronger than Iravonia's, and that is not because she's higher in level. That is strictly due to her devotion to the goddess Veneria, another trait she doesn't share with me, as I have my own religious views, and they do not really require churches or temples or anything like it. The weakness of undead characters would of course be the light element or holy element, which is basically the same, at least as far as this game is concerned. Of course, the one who will be able to cast spells in that element will be Silakandra, however she cannot do that yet. Well, let's throw the switch! If you paid attention, you would also see that only Silakandra got herself experience points for beating this skeleton, and Brando did not. That has of course to do with the Traveler's Emblem system, and Brando still being beyond the level cap. There is one thing I need also to reveal about Silakandra. You will only see her whip slashing abilities, and Iravonia had the 4 elements below this. Silakandra will eventually be able to pray to 4 different gods. However, none are listed, not even Veneria, to which she owes the first 8 spell. That is for storyline reasons, I can tell you. When I successfully purify this temple from the monsters, I will be personally blessed by Veneria herself, and then she will be listed here. And from that moment, I can actually train her to be a full-fledged healer that she will need to be over the course of the game. Now it won't hurt to use first aid anyway, it saves items and it also saves my vitality bar. And I can tell you, once Silakandra receives her blessing from the goddess, you're going to need it. Oversoul. It would only be fitting to have scorpions in this particular dungeon. Remember what Iravonia calls her? Little scorpion. That was my girlfriend's idea to nickname her that due to her venomous behavior. Although you will find out that this does not fully do her justice. And of course I think it's obvious where the nickname Iravonia got herself, Butterfly, where that came from. This is of course a reference to Lord of the Rings. Against the power of Mordor there can be no victory. The achievement names contain countless of references. That's the way back. I guess this is the way to go. The size of the characters is a bit of a leftover of the original setup for the game. And it was not really properly adjusted when I moved to the modern engines, in which I would have to deal with different resolution types. Of course, this is an issue that was already partially solved in my Apollo engine, in which Star Story 1 and 2 and the Fairy Tale were currently set up. Of course, the Fairy Tale, the original Fairy Tale game had an entirely different engine that could only run that game. The revamp runs in Apollo, and in my current Cindy's creative interpreter I have set up a system that would that should make the size issues due to different resolution types completely to the past. If you look well, you see where the areas had here on the floor. Of course, this is the last dungeon to take place in flashback shape, as after this all the 4 characters have revealed their story and how they got themselves captured. When this is done, you will get straight back into the present, and then the game will actually have the first mission, and that is of course to escape from that prison. And of course, then it will also be clear what happened to Rebecca. She was not present in that prison. Unavoidable that I had to damage Silakandra's vitality bar at last. Level up. As I'm approaching the boss now, that's only a good thing to happen. I'm pretty sure that Oversoul enemy helped me a lot here. And I still have to fight for it. there's still another room. Of course, Iravonia would have been able to get over that gap were it not that she isn't present yet and that you cannot come back here later. Yet I did take it into account that she should be able to do it. Of course, if it actually happened, it's something that I never tested. I didn't want to waste more time on that than I strictly have to. Here is of course the boss, and defeating it will purify this temple and complete this little prologue story. Now what is nice to tell about this boss, it won't work in the regular game playthrough that I am in now. However, I can reveal this: if you are playing in New Game Plus, there is a way to kill this guy instantly. Now it's of course that nice question if somebody manages to do that. Hearts is a reference to the RPG game with the same name, and of course the boss's name was Shadow Sweeper. Of course, the prequel of the prologue stories end. Wait a minute, I think I hear someone outside. And well, Rebecca was of course not captured, so she could get me out. This also means that I can change the order of the group now. So let's have... I normally prefer this group, but of course it all depends on your own playing style, I guess. Now, of course, I did really try to set a bit the mood for an actual prison. The music tune is, not this one, I created on that tune myself. The prison tune was created by Vinci specifically to get a bit of the prison mood. I can also say that this is the final dungeon of the first chapter. So once this dungeon has been completed, I will take my leave of you and be back next Saturday with the video in which I will commence the second chapter. Since I have 4 characters up front now, you can already see that I have also more enemies. A hireling, and well, killing the first hireling will instantly give you an achievement. Kill the hireling. Every everyone who plays the card game Munchkin will get the reference. Oh, not enough AP. Yeah, that is particularly at the start of the game a bit of a problem. Oh, that will put him entirely back on full health, but it will lower all his statistics and give him some nice list of status ailments, most notably poison and disease. Of course, poison will drain your HP and disease will block all kinds of healing, so he won't be able to pull that stunt again. Well, if he does, he can basically not gain any experience. Well, nothing any point for that. Poison kills. And there's the achievement for killing that hireling. Of HP loss, but I already entered Silacandra's move, so I guess Iravonia has to do it in some water points anyway. And it can of course never hurt to check the skill experience too every once in a while. I see Iravonia is getting well on the way. Those colored doors, it's all the same texture, only a different color. The magic of Keturah. And this is the magic of a too strong enemy. Yeah, that's a reference, of course, to YMCA. Duckman, there's a place you can go. I said, Duckman, when you're short on your dough. So little AP to heal. So I guess it will have to wait a few rounds. I can only hope that letter P won't attack Rebecca in the meantime. No effect due to disease. Wanted to perform a coup grâce on the hireling. However, the timing on the time bar was that way that things got a little bit mixed up there. That is why those strange things happened. Adieu. Yeah, there is an open door here. Might be a good idea to hit that open door before I leave this room. Shielders is of course the currency that you will need to buy stuff in the game. And once you've reached the second chapter, you may actually be able to visit stores and whatnot. The name Shielder is actually based on two existing currencies. basically two currencies that did exist in the past, but which have both been taken out of the system. The guilder, which was of course the Dutch currency before it was replaced by the euro, and the shilling, which was of course the official currency in Austria before it was replaced by the euro. And of course in the pound system, then several amount of pence was 1 shilling and several amount of shillings was 1 pound. However, the current pound system that oversold skeleton is getting pretty dangerous. Well, I can change characters in game, in battle. And perhaps as Render is a bit sturdier, it might be an idea that he stands in until that oversoul skeleton is gone. Well, at least I have another Phoenix. Holy crap. And just a regular attack. Silagandra will eventually learn a spell in order to cure poison. Remember that good grass move, as it will be important near the end of the game. But I will get into the deep of that when we actually get there. Of course, you remember, Iravonia is able to fly short distances, and that is how I can reach that Traveler's Emblem. Now let's first get rid of this purple slime, but that is Iravonia's job. Level 23 for Silagandra. Yeah, those skeletons were an idea of my back then graphics designer, and given the nature of this dungeon, it was really a very clever idea of his, I think. And I later even requested him to, because the skeleton and the wall were one texture, to also make a version of the skeleton without the wall behind him, so I could basically attach it anywhere. This allowed me to do a bit more with prison locations. An emergency call for Rebecca. Iravonia didn't have the most nice starting position in a fight like this. I think there's not much explanation required on how to play this particular dungeon. Only one goblin, but yeah, I wanted the system to be versatile, allowing these small kinds of encounters to happen. As you may see, the stairways to the next level and the room numbers actually run back. I did this with in mind that this is a multi-floor prison in which you were locked up on the top floor and would actually going all the way down. And I'm not reviving my fellow characters so you can strike me out again, mister. A lot of timing here. What's it going to do now? I can only hope. Silagandra will be in town. Oh, it's not even important anymore. You can also see that the differences in levels is slowly decreasing. I deliberately made the range between the starting levels quite wide, also to show that overgrinding is in the longer term pretty pointless. Rebecca need to do it, but her elemental skills need to go up. As well as her power with the goddess Mediania. Full HP again. But on the bright side, he's also poisoned. Yeah, the healing part won't work again for this turn. Level 12 for Iravonia. Now a few things to note, as things have really been thought out here. The amount of AP that the reset routine will take in order whenever you gain skill levels is really... Eric will of course get a few magic groups, and why that is will be revealed in the second chapter. I'm not going to discuss that now, but it will of course, aside from his sword skills, affect his AP. On Iravonia it is solely based on the 4 magic elements. The wielding skills won't affect it at all. Rebecca only has sword skills, and that also makes that she gains more starting AP with each sword skill level that she gains. When it comes to Silagandra, her 4 gods and her whip skills are, depending on with how much AP she starts, The gods have a little more effect than the whip slashing skills, and as her affinity with many areas is the strongest of all the 4 gods that she will have access to, that will affect her AP bar the most. Yeah, well, a nice save game here. This portal that you see here with a metal icon on the floor. Dyrt makes use of a metal system. The total number of achievements that you have earned in all my games can be the deciding factor whether or not the gateway here is open. And then you can step into the portal in order to get yourself in a secret bonus level. Given the difficulty of that particular dungeon, I would, however, recommend to wait a while, at least until the moment that Eravonia has learned the spell Fire Blast. She will be really dependent on spells like those. Or, of course, until you are a level higher in general. And here we have Blanchy. She's waiting for us. Yes, and this is of course a very important hint for stuff later in the game. Blanchy has been ordered by him, whoever he may be, to kill me, so that is what she does. And she is unable to disobey him. I did choose to go for a different boss tune here. It's does place a bit of more drama into it, and given this also that Blanchie does happen to be undead, that is also pretty important to note for the storyline, to make it a bit more horror themed. Yeah, nothing she can do. Too little AP to heal. Yeah, but I can't just stand by and do nothing. Let's just use a potion. A breeze for Iravonia. Of course, she is the strongest character in the game when it comes to magic resistance. I guess that was only to be expected. Flame for Rebecca. I guess it's only obvious that Blanchie is the final boss for this chapter. Yeah, that's 26. That should do right. Yes, what a level 5, so now she learns Splash. It's not really a move that is gonna help me in this case, but at least she has it. Yes, and that will conclude this chapter, or at least the mandatory work, as there are still a few things I can show before I take my leave of you. Of course, I already said Blanche being undead was important for the storyline. Rebecca also mentioned it. I think Blanche has been dead for a long time now. What we thought was what remained of her, a restless spirit. And it seems magically enslaved by somebody. If that is true, how did she die and who did enslave her? I'm not quite sure I wish to find out. Well, of course, I think it's obvious that we are going to find out. And of course, leaving the prison and we're free! Now the Dragon Crack Forest is where the game will continue. Of course, I have one thing left to do in the mysterious crypt. As this is no longer a part of a prologue dungeon and you having full access back to the world map, I've removed the merchant located at the entrance. And Eravonia can also, she can use them herself, but of course she can at least retrieve them. And with that I have 2 swords in my possession. And if I click it, Rebecca will equip it. And of course I have another sword which I can give to Eric, which will increase his strength. And with that I will take my leave of you in this video. And we'll meet each other again next Saturday, same time, same channel. And then I'll show you the 2nd chapter of the Secrets of Dyrt, and I will of course be commenting things and how they came to be and blah 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 blah. So see you the next time. Take care of yourself and for each other.